If buyers know you exist, why aren't more of them becoming real sales conversations? That is one of the most frustrating problems for consulting firms. You can publish consistently, get profile views, send outreach, and build connections, but still feel like the pipeline is not moving. The issue is not always visibility. The issue is whether your authority creates buyer confidence. The big misconception is this: more visibility does not automatically create more deal movement. A buyer can see your post, accept your connection request, visit your website, or hear your name from a peer, and still do nothing. Because attention is not the same as readiness. Buyers move when your signals reduce uncertainty and make the next step feel safe. This is where deal mechanics comes in. Deal mechanics shows how authority moves a buyer through 3 stages: signal, conversation, decision. A signal is what the buyer sees. A conversation begins when the buyer has enough confidence to engage. A decision happens when the buyer can justify moving forward. The goal is not more activity. The goal is smoother buyer movement. The first stage is signal. A signal is any fragment of information a buyer encounters. It could be your LinkedIn post, website headline, outreach message, case study, referral, or comment in a conversation. But signals do not explain themselves. The buyer interprets them. And if the signal feels vague, generic, or hard to decode, the buyer moves on. The second stage is conversation. This is where passive awareness turns into active engagement. The buyer replies, asks a real question, books a call, or requests more information. But that only happens when the signal has created enough relevance, confidence, and curiosity. The buyer is asking, do they understand my problem? Can they help? Is it safe to spend time with them? The third stage is decision. This is the stage many consulting firms misunderstand. A good sales call is not the same as a decision. The buyer may like you, agree with your diagnosis, and ask for a proposal, then still disappear. Why? Because complex B2B decisions are rarely made by one person. Your buyer has to defend the choice internally. That means your authority has to travel without you. This is portable authority. Portable authority is simple, transferable language and proof your buyer can carry into internal conversations. It helps them explain 4 things. What problem needs to be solved? Why does it matter now? Why is your firm the logical choice? Where is the proof you can deliver? Here is where the breakdown happens. Many firms create signals that get seen but not understood. Or they create conversations that go well in the room but fall apart after the call. That is usually not a lead generation problem. It is a buyer confidence problem. If your champion cannot explain why you make sense, the safest internal move is delay. Think about Company A and Company B. Company A has expertise, but its signals are vague. The buyer sees activity, but not a clear reason to act. Company B gets noticed. Company B becomes easier to trust, recommend, defend, and choose. So the key takeaway is simple. Your biggest competitor may not be another consulting firm. It may be your buyer's fear of making a choice they cannot defend. Deal movement happens when your authority reduces that fear. If you want to see where your own authority may be breaking down, take the Authority Gap Quiz. Go to trailblazermastery.com/quiz.